So some of the leadership struggles we discussed last month, we talked about identity, like as one of the biggest leadership issues that we've found amongst a lot of leaders of organizations and companies and whatnot. It's like if you don't know who you are, how do you even um, do what you're supposed to do with confidence, right? And there are so many people who are battling identity crisis in different jurisdictions and different areas of their lives. And we want to be able to, make sure that people are well versed in who they are as a people so that they can leverage their multidisciplinary skills and be able to really create the system change that we need. Also, knowing who you are, which is being able to know your identity, also comes with knowing whose you are. Knowing whose you are. So with knowing whose you are, it's like, for instance, those of us who are Christians, we know that there's a tie to God, right? And so if you're struggling with identity issues, the Bible has there are so many ways to be able to rediscover your identity through the Bible. The Bible talks about the fact that we are royal priesthood, we are chosen generation. All of these things help you to really discover who you are because God is your creator. And I always say that no, there is no product that knows more of him themselves if the manufacturer hasn't given them the blueprint of who they are. Do you understand? So there's nobody who will buy an Apple phone and go to a Motorola company to fix it for them unless the Motorola company has the ability. Do you understand? So there's to be able to give them the knowledge on how to fix it for them unless the Motorola company has the faulty Apple phone. So be able to give them. So go back to God to be able to discover your identity. And so the other leadership struggle that we talked about was low self-esteem and self-sabotage. And this is like tied to not knowing who you are. If you don't know who you are, one of the things that you find yourself struggling with is low self-esteem and self-sabotage. Sometimes we are our own enemy of progress, right? Because we have capacity, but we are scared to do more. We are scared to go ahead and, leverage leverage the capacity that we have. So one of the things that we discouraged in the last session is low self-esteem and self-sabotage. And we talked about how to navigate that in a way that helps, you to live or act with self-confidence and even lead but with self-confidence. Now, the next thing was clarity, which is one of another big issue that we have in the leadership domain in this era. So many people don't have clarity, and everybody is waiting for us to have it all together before they can do what they need to do. It's like, oh, I don't have everything all together. I need to know everything. I need to have the full picture. But the truth about clarity is sometimes it doesn't come at once, right? Clarity comes in stagnation, and it doesn't come in stagnation, it comes within the process. So if there's something on your mind that you want to do, like you really want to focus on doing it, you want to just start from the level of clarity you have. So if it's just, oh, to start a business, start doing whatever it is you need to do with the clarity of I need to start a business. It's better to start that way than to wait a million years to have everything all put together before you can continue. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so so the next thing we also talked about was mindsets, which is another prison that we find ourselves in, another box that we find ourselves in most of the time. We don't have the mindset that we need to be able to push the agenda that we want to pursue, right? And so sometimes we have limited narratives concerning who we are, how we think, whether we can actually do what we've been told to do, whether we can, because we see other people doing big stuff and we admire it, like we sit behind and admire all those beautiful things that they do, but then we don't believe that we can do it ourselves. So if you don't believe in yourself as a leader, how does even your team members, right, go ahead and even believe in the vision that you have? So the mindset shift is a very important thing that we need to do, especially when it comes to leadership. So that is what we talked about in the last session. So moving on to the today's session. So basically, the summary of our last session was that you need to literally become a new person. You need to radically understand and accept where you are now and where you need to be. Don't lie to yourself because we like to lie to ourselves a lot. Sometimes we are there, we're like, oh, we are good, but we know in our hearts of heart that we could be doing more or we could be doing better. But we are sitting here waiting on whoever. but nobody is waiting. You need to actually put yourself together and accept where you are and make the change, the critical life audits that you need to do, and reset your life for the leadership that the Lord is calling you to. Okay. So today's agenda, we are going to continue with sustainability issues as part of the leadership struggles that we have today. Majority of us leaders, one of the things we've noticed is that we can start something, but how to sustain it is also a very big problem. And so one of the things that comes up when it comes to being able to figure out the whole sustainability thing is continuous learning and improvement. You cannot know it all together. Nobody knows everything all together. You need to keep learning. And in this era with AI and Internet of Things and all of these things, we need to be able to continually learn. If you've noticed recently, the degrees we have are no longer enough. They are no longer enough. There are people who I know personally who have PhDs, two PhDs, and they still don't have jobs. And you wonder if your education was important or but right now is the education is beyond the knowledge. You need to also learn more skills to be able to leverage your multidisciplinary capacity that the Lord has given you and also execute. So complacency is one of the things that also holds us back. So if we are able to learn and continually improve on ourselves in different jurisdictions, so for instance, somebody like the last time we were talking about the fact that people feel like, oh, I'm not an IT person. So you are just there, you're not learning anything about IT, you're not learning anything about AI, you're just sitting there, you don't know how to use any AI tool. Then there's somebody who is younger than you who will come and take your job at the end of the day. Why? Because they have learned these things. So we need to be abreast with knowledge and improvements as we go on to be able to really sustain whatever it is that we have been called to do. The next one we want to talk about is ownership. Ownership. One of the, I think I was talking to one of my leaders in the Lord, and they were talking to me about how they have a fear that the team will not perform as much as they expect them to. And I think it's pretty common, especially if you have a team, there are some times where the capacity within which you execute stuff is not the same way the other person will do it, right? And so you find yourself in that box and you are thinking, oh my gosh, I need to do everything by myself. But you don't have to, honestly. You need to learn to trust your team members so that you can. I mean, I understand that some people may not catch up as immediate as we wanted, and that's okay. You need to know the team that you are dealing with, right? The team that you're dealing with to be able to do that. So delegation is our next point, which is the solution to the ownership issue, the fear that people will not own your product or own your business the way that you want it. So strategic delegation. So there's a scripture that I would like to use. It's in the book of Exodus. It talks about Jethro and Moses. When Jethro was Moses's father-in-law, and Moses, again, we all know if you're a Christian, you know that he was leading the Israelites, right? And one of the things Moses was doing was he was doing everything by himself. At some point, he was doing everything by himself, and his father-in-law was just looking at him. He was like, you need to assign certain things to certain people so that you can do the important things, right? So delegation is very important. So it's not just delegation, it's like strategic delegation. Strategic delegation. So what is strategic delegation about? It's like you need to know your team, know the team that you have, know the various strengths on your team and leverage those strengths, right? So if you feel like in your team somebody cannot handle, say, marketing, you don't give that person a marketing job until the person is able to learn to be able to pick it up. So if you as a leader, you are very good at marketing, do the marketing aspect and give whatever it is the team member can do. Else, that way you are trying to, leverage their different capacities. Do you understand? Please let me know if I'm making sense so far. You can give me a thumbs up, thumbs up. Let me know if I'm making sense so far. Making sense so far. Give me a thumbs up. Let me see. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Awesome. All right. So So know your team and assign tasks accordingly, according to the knowledge they have, according to the skills that they have, so that you don't stress yourself. Honestly, you don't stress yourself. Because if you are doing it all, you cannot do like this event that we put together. There was no way I could have done everything together. Yes, do I have the capacity to? Yes, but I would have burned out eventually. So we delegated different things for people to do, so we can have a smooth event to do. You understand? Okay, now. The next thing under delegation is that you want to take the biggest and most important tasks. Because if that is your fear as a leader, that somebody will not do the work the way you want them to do it, you want to do the important ones to you, that the ones that you know that, for instance, content. One of the things I do, especially with our ProConnect, is the content part of things. Because I am a vision bearer, I have my team, we all understand the vision, but I try to put the content together so that we can really execute and take the narrative that we want to share in the public domain, right? So if that's what is important to you in the team, you want to really focus on that one. Focus on the biggest task and collaborate the team and collaborate with your team on the most important task. So sometimes too, either you are, doing it by yourself. Either you're doing the important task by yourself, or you've delegated parts of the task, right? So, for instance, maybe Gideon will take say the camera or the technical aspects. Maybe Jaden is good at, let's say, let me use marketing again, right? Jaden is good at marketing, so you give the marketing side of things to Jaden. Maybe Rose, you are very good at, say, talking, so facilitating. You give the facilitating side to Rose to be able to do that. Now, when it comes to the big tasks, right? In order to not let your team feel like you are doing everything by yourself, you collaborate with them together and you do those big tasks together. Aside from the individual tasks that you've given them, you want to do those ones together. So now we collaborate. So, for instance, one of the things we do on our team is we have meetings and we share slides and we put ideas together, and somebody will bring a suggestion, and right on the spot, we are doing the editing for everybody to see. Right? That's where you are slowly teaching your team about the important tasks that matter to you. So by the time you keep doing this over and over again, you notice that at some point they'll pick up, and you don't have to, stress about not owning it as much as you want them to. Okay. The next one we want to talk about is economic empowerment. One of the boxes we find our leaders in is economic empowerment. It's also under the sustainability issues. We don't have good money mindset. We don't have good money mindset. We think that we need to, and I understand, okay, I understand that there are some people that were blessed or had the opportunity to be with, come from a family that, they have a lot of money, they have, everything that they need to be able to thrive. But some of us too, we didn't come from those kind of families, right? And so are we going to say that because we didn't come from those kind of families, we're not going to do anything, we're not going to learn how money works? Do you get it? So first of all, for economic empowerment and to be able to sustain whatever it is that you're pushing, you want to make sure that you have changed the mindset that you have about money. Some people, there are two ends of the game. Some people feel like money is for only a certain caliber of people to attain, right? And then there are other people that feel like, oh, they need to have all the money right now. Like have all the money, like have like they wake up in the morning and there's $1 trillion in their accounts and that's it. But the money doesn't work like that. Right. So you need to change your mindset about money. So you need to understand how money works to be able to sustain. Because right now, there's nothing you will do in this world, the majority of the time, that doesn't involve money. Right? Even being able to put up this thing, right now, there are so many things that have changed. All the things that used to be free 5 years ago, they're no longer free. You need to subscribe, you need to pay. They'll give you a trial period for, let's say, a week or a month, and that's it. So you need to be able to sustain what, for instance, we are doing at ProConnect. We need to make sure that we're understanding our money. We have changed our money mindset, and we are able to, put things in place in a way that we can continue doing this so that we don't stop somewhere in between or somewhere in the middle. Right, so understand how money works. I'm not going to emphasize so much on this because we have our next series coming up. It's called Pro Wealth series, where we teach people financial discipline and financial resilience. So we're going to get there. And one thing I want to talk about with economic empowerment is that money accumulates over time. Unfortunately, our generation, we don't have patience, right? We just want to get the kudi, we want to get the money like ASAP. We just get it right now. We are very like, oh, we need to have the money to be able to do this. But money accumulates over time. When you learn about wealth, one of the things you realize is that most people talk about the fact that you need to start saving, maybe investing, all of these things. There are some investment that may yield very high returns, right? You can get the returns as quickly as possible, but there are some you won't get it like that. Do you get it? So you need to learn how money work and put it in your mind that it's better to start putting the money together for it to accumulate over time than to just say, oh, I'm waiting and I'll get $1 billion. What if the $1 billion don't come? What if the $1 billion don't come? Do you get it? So you need to be strategic about money, but we will talk about it in Pro World series. We go deeper into it. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is being able to understand your emotions, emotional fluency. Emotional fluency. One of the things that we notice that even as individuals, whether you're a leader or not, we are emotional beings, and so majority of the time we feel we have emotions. There are so many things like we've been living in chaos. And sometimes, because of the events or the experiences of the chaos, then we find ourselves in a position where we are tired, we are exhausted, we are annoyed, and the system alone will squeeze the life out of you sometimes, right? And so, being able to have emotional fluency helps you to be able to navigate some of these things. So, one of the things that under emotional fluency that I want to talk about is knowing. First of all, you need to know how you feel. How are you feeling? If you don't know how you feel, if you cannot test, you cannot, attest to the fact that, oh my gosh, my head is aching, maybe it's because I'm stressed out. If you don't know how you feel, how do you even go about doing something about it? So awareness of what you're feeling is part of emotional fluency. Now, after you become aware of your feelings, the next thing you want to know is understand your feelings. Those are two different things. Knowing is being aware that there's something wrong somewhere, and understanding it is like, oh my gosh, there's really something wrong with me, and this is exactly what is wrong with me. So you name the feeling, being able to explain how you feel in words so that you know what to do about it. So after understanding is you need to process your emotions, and this is the part that we don't like. I worked in therapy majority of the time, and when we get to processing emotions, clients don't want to do it. They don't want to feel the emotions and I understand because sometimes it's like reliving the event all over again, something that has passed and it was painful and you had a very painful experience with it. So you don't want to like bring it back. But the truth of the matter is you running away from feeling or processing that emotion doesn't mean that your emotions have vanished. It doesn't mean that the emotions are vanished. It means that it will catch up with you one day. And one day you'll just be there, you burn out, you start crying. I don't know if you've ever met somebody who is very, very, hardcore in nature, somebody who doesn't really cry all the time. The person is, all over the place. But then one time you just start crying and you don't even know where the cry is coming from, why you are crying. It's because you've been running away from your emotions all this while and you've not processed them. So there's an accumulation of stress and emotional torture that you've been dealing with. So we want to encourage people to be able to recount your emotions, allow yourself to relive it, even though it's painful, and feel those emotions. So in doing that, you want to talk about the event or the experience, right? Even if it's not with a therapist, you can talk to your friend, anybody at all that you trust. Okay. And so you can go about it that way. And then the next thing is you want to make sure that how you feel or the experience that you're having all over again, it's not just on you, right? At least there's a saying that a problem shared is half solved. It means that you've been able to navigate it to the extent that people are able to understand how you're feeling. And at least even a little bit of encouragement goes a long way. Okay. And learn how to manage your emotions plus others as a leader. You want to learn how to manage your emotions plus others because you're not the only person in the team. There are other people in the team with you. So if you learn how to manage your emotions, that is when you can also go and be able to know how your team members are feeling, understand how they're feeling, help them process their emotions as well, so they can actually help you carry out the vision that you have effectively. So now my message that I'm leaving with you finally is you want to feel your emotions, but don't get stuck in them because there's a problem. If you get stuck in them, that's where it leads to depression and anxiety and all of those things, right? But you want to be able to feel the emotions, get to know how to resolve through them, but don't get stuck in your emotions. So Sonia is going to continue to give you some coping skills on how to navigate these emotional things that I've spoken to you about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you so much. Wow, that's a lot to process, and I'm so grateful that I'm in this session now. And so, if you just joined us, this is Pro Community, ProMindset. You can scan the QR code we have here and prepare your questions because we would allow for that at some time in this session. We'll give it to Sonia now. Sonia, take us on.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Priscilla.
Hi, Sonia.
Louisa, can you
Your
hear me?
internet is a bit faint. Can you turn off your video and let's see if the audio alone would be clearer? Can you hear us? Hi, Sonia.
Yes, I can
Can
hear
you
you
hear us?
clearly. Can you hear me now?
Yes. So I think let's
Hello?
stick to the
Yes, I
audio.
can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so the audio is better.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, that's a lot of things, and then I want to continue because before that, since that's all about mindset. Okay, it all starts with a mindset. The last session, I spoke on mindset being your most dangerous master tool for a life-changing experience. Okay, the Bible says in Proverbs 23, verse 7, that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. All right, so what are you thinking about yourself? You need to have as a leader, you need to have I can do it mentality. You need to have it. I can overcome any kind of obstacle. Because without the right mindset, issues in leadership will overwhelm you so much that you maybe have a burnout. And I want to burnout is the extreme form of stress. Okay, sometimes you are stressed, but when you are burnt out, that is it. You are just down. All right. So when it comes to being multi-area, stress is inevitable. No matter what you do, you will be stressed. Stress will come. But it's up to you to take care of your mental health because it's really, really important. You are a multidisciplinary leader. You are handling so many responsibilities. You have so many people under you. Yes, you have high expectation. You want to make sure that your team is always winning, always excelling. Because of that, some multidisciplinary leaders tend to micromanage a lot just because of the high expectation they're expecting of their team or even expectations from others. Because of that, they tend to micromanage a lot. And it doesn't help us. It doesn't help us as leaders. It doesn't help our team members either. All right? Because you can't do everything by yourself. So she gave a scenario. I mentioned delegation. You cannot do everything by yourself. So it's very important that you delegate. Okay, you need to train and coach others to execute on your behalf. Execute on your behalf and focus on the high impact tasks. Because as a leader, you cannot be doing everything. You cannot be doing the same tasks that your your members, your team members also do. Delegate become too overwhelmed. And the people become overwhelmed they tend to resort to taking alcohol, they tend to resort to taking other substances, to smoking, just to reduce the stress because they think that that is what is going to reduce their stress. But no, there are lots of dangers that come with that. Danger number one is that these things, taking alcohol does not solve stress. Taking pills does not solve the stress. Okay, it only delays it for a while. And even as it's delaying it, it's causing you to be dependent on it. Meaning, stress, you have tendency to feel like it's been helping the meanwhile. All right, it weakens your ability to actually cope with the stress. The third one is it has long-term health effects. All right, it can affect your liver, it can affect your kidney. Your health overall will deteriorate. So instead, I want to show you 7 ways of coping with the stress. Okay, 7 ways. Technique, which is an abbreviation, okay? So the first one, which is an I, is imagery. Imagery as an image. What do you see? How do you see the outcome? You need to visualize your positive outcome, even in the stress, even in the many things that you need to do. What are you seeing at the end? Visualize your positive outcome. Okay. The last session, I spoke on the law of manifestation, which I'm going to mention again. You need to see something in your mind's eye. When you think of it, your emotions needs to align with it. And then you expect that shadow of doubt you had. And then you realize that these will influence opportunities that come your way. All right. This law of manifestation thing, it was stemmed out of the Bible. The Bible spoke about it, but the secular people have taken it and have adopted this principle. They are using it and it's working for them. Whilst these things has been in the Bible since, okay? So you need to visualize it. You visualize it, you speak it. You align your thoughts, you align your emotions. Eventually, everything will fall in place. Okay, that is for the I image. There's a reason for everything. So you need to find meaning in your situation. God doesn't put us through situations just for putting us in any kind of situation. No, there's a reason for every single thing. Even the people that come your way, whatever organization you find yourself in, whatever company you find yourself in, there's a reason for you being there. So you need to find meaning in that situation. What is it teaching you? What is this teaching me? Yes, I'm overwhelmed. Yes, I'm stressed. But what can I learn from this? Okay, there are lessons to be learned from every single thing. So sometimes you just need to pause and see the positive aspect and see what you can learn from it. All right, that's the M. Now the P. It's prayer. As for prayer, you so cannot do without prayer. Prayer is a must. Okay. You need to pray to God. You need to tell him how you're feeling. If we call ourselves Christians, children of God, then we should boldly go to our Father. We should be transparent and go to our Father. Let him know how you're feeling. Yes, God knows everything. He knows how you're feeling, but he expects you and he wants you to tell him how you're feeling. Okay? So let him know that you're overwhelmed. You're doing so many things. You can't. You are straight, like whatever. Just vent to him. And then you ask him to help you. All right? You ask him to help you. And most often in prayer, you find out that God is your answer. There's certain things that, or there's certain thoughts that comes to you when you're prayer. That's the way of God speaking to you. You can have an idea that, oh, I'm doing so many things that I wish I could have this person to join my team. This person is well versed in this. I think this person could join my team. It's all ideas that God is actually giving you. It's not coming from yourself. So sometimes in prayer, you need to pay attention to these ideas you're having. Sometimes he can even tell you that go speak to this person. Go speak to this person about the issue you're facing. And who knows, the person can help you solve it. Oh, this is how this is part of this person. You take open minded. And then you suddenly realize that you are less stressed, that you are able to handle many tasks, multiple tasks effortlessly. You see, and all these things, it takes grace. It is all grace, okay? Because leadership in itself, it takes grace. And it is God that gives us the grace to handle all these things. So I'd encourage everybody not to neglect prayer in this leadership journey. Now we're going to R. R is for relaxation. Sweetheart, sometimes you just need to relax. You are doing too many things. Just pause and relax. Office, having this, having that. Sometimes you can get my brain trying to think well. Relax. Okay, if you need to take a stroll, take a stroll. If you need to step out of the office a bit just to grab something to drink, just step out. Okay. When you take a break, the world will not collapse. The company will not collapse. Your business will not collapse. You need to pay attention to your health. Take care of your health because yes, you're valuable, but you're not irreplaceable. God forbid if something happens to you, the company will obviously find a replacement. They will find somebody to replace you because life goes on. So work must go on too. It's very important to take care of your health. You need to prioritize your health. You know that this is just what you take your leave. Take your leave because your health is very important. When you break down, let's say you are running your own business. When you break down, who is going to continue? So you need to stay healthy so that you can achieve what you need to achieve or what you have to achieve. All right. So that is the R. Now the O. One thing to focus on. That's the O. What's one thing should you focus on? Yes, you're doing amongst the numerous things that you're doing, juggling everything together. What one thing you should ask yourself, what's that one thing that I need to prioritize that would yield maximum results? Because obviously not everything you're doing will. Yes, I mean, the same result, like something is but there's one, we call it 80%. 80% out of everything you're doing would give you the result you're expecting. The 80% and the 80-20 rule, we call that 20% the vital few. And then the 80% the trivial many. So out of the 80% or out of the 100%, what is that 20% that when you focus on will yield you that maximum impact, That's what you're supposed to look out for. Now we have the V, vacation. Vacation does not necessarily mean you traveling out of the country to go to that's vacation. Yes, it's for okay, sometimes you just need a mental break. It means stepping away mentally, emotionally, physically to reset yourself. It is only in this part of the world that we don't see vacation as necessary, but out there, vacation is a must. Out there in the Western world, vacation is a must for them. Okay, so we need to take time off. Can just go somewhere for just a few hours, relax your mind. Relax your mind. It includes taking a digital break. Stay away from your phone. You're always getting work messages, always getting these emails. Sometimes you just need to stay away from all those things. Okay, because you cannot lead effectively if you are constantly depleted. Okay, so you need that break, you need that time, you need that vacation to replenish yourself so that you can come back and make your impact. Now, the last one, which is encouragement. That's positive self-talk. That's why it's very important the kind of people you surround yourself with. Yes, sometimes we may want encouragement to people, but the best encouragement we can have is what we give to ourselves, because it's not all the time that you're going to get people encouraging you, or it's not all the time that you're going to it's not all the time that you're going to be surrounded with the right people who would encourage you. So you need to encourage yourself. Give yourself pity for self-worth. You need to remind yourself what the capabilities you have, who you are in Christ, who God has made you, and the things He has deposited in you, and what you are capable of. You need to remind yourself of all those things. You need to encourage yourself. Like when you read Samuel, First Samuel from 30 in chapter 30, it talks about what the Amalekites did to them. They went for war, they came back, the Amalekites has ransacked their town, taking their children, taking their wives, and the whole place was devastated with. The people David was leading, they were so devastated. They were depressed, they were suppressed, they were oppressed, they were everything. David was feeling times two of what they were feeling. But you know what they did? What David did? He encouraged himself in the Lord. You know, the Bible could have said David encouraged himself. And no, it had to he encouraged himself in the Lord. Because that's encouraging yourself. That's encouraging yourself in the Lord. Because he knows that he can't do it on his own. He cannot do it on his own. He knew that it's only God that could help him. It is only God. The Bible says that unless the Lord builds a house, they labor in vain, they that build it. So if God doesn't help you, who will help you? Yes, you may have the skill, you may have the ability, but trust me, if God doesn't help you, everything will come crumbling. Okay, so skill, ability. But then it's all about the help God gives him, the strength God gives him to do what he needs to do. Because it's not by might, nor by power, but it's by the Spirit. Okay, so let's encourage ourselves in the Lord. Not everybody may be a leader, but I know some people are leaders, and obviously some are on that journey to leadership. We need to make sure that we are grounded, because there's a time coming, if you don't have a solid foundation, you'll be swayed. So I just want to encourage everybody that stress is normal, that you need to have some coping mechanisms, which is what I have shared with you today, to deal with that stress level. Thank you. Louisa, over to you.
Thank you so, so much, Sonia. Thank you. I'm hoping that people got a bit of it as I did. I tried to get it, and we are really apologizing for the break in the internet. But we sure would share also the notes with you after this session, so you can drop us your email so we do so. Over to you, Priscilla.
Oh, you didn't hear me? I was
No,
breaking.
we heard you. There were just
Yeah, we heard,
interruptions in
yeah.
between. Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
there was
We
just
have.
interruptions in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly, summarize what she said, so it makes it easier for those of us who couldn't get much. Okay. All right. So the first thing she spoke about was imagery. So basically, you want to visualize something that you are, you want to visualize something that will help you feel calm under stress, right? So some of us like to watch TVs, somebody will like to watch the sunset, somebody will like to, just maybe just be in bed. Some people who like jacuzzi, they just find themselves in a jacuzzi watching the bubbles. Like there are so many things that you can watch nature wise in terms of waterfall, whatever it is that you can watch to help you calm down. That is imagery, being able to evoke that sense of imagery, that skill of imagery to be able to help you calm down. Now, the next thing that I want to, she talked about was finding meaning. So find meaning or a lesson in the stress that you're feeling or the experiences. Sometimes we are feeling stressed, we're feeling burnout in our leadership situations because things are not going the way we want it. But remember that everything has a reason, and sometimes we learn from some of these experiences. So what Sonia was trying to say is that you want to be able to find meaning in the situation. Like ask yourself what is teaching you so that you can learn something out of the bad experience. Um, that helps you to stay a little bit like reframe the thinking pattern around the bad experience. Like, oh, it was a bad experience, but this is what I learned from it. So that next time you don't repeat those kind of things. So that helps you to, tolerate the distress that you're feeling. Now, the next thing you talked about was prayer or meditation. It's like this helps you to calm down during stress or burnout. Meditation helps you to focus on one thing at a time so that you can declutter all the things that are already on your mind. Do you get it? So that helps you to, calm down. And now relaxation. One of the things that she pointed out was prioritize your health. Prioritize your health because rest is not laziness. That's what we think. Sometimes we feel like rest is laziness, but it is actually a strategy for effective leadership. If you're tired, if you're burned out, you cannot lead effectively. So you want to really be intentional about your relaxation. The next thing was one thing in a moment. Some of us, we try to do too many things at a time. And I understand that we are advocating for multidisciplinary, capacity and all of that. But it's important that you are able to navigate and strategically navigate how you are going to do it. So for instance, you have a chunk of to-do list, you want to break them down into different, sectors and sessions so you can work through them. There's something called okay, I've forgotten what it is, but I think there's a way where you can work maybe 15 minutes intervals of things, right, during task, and that helps you to be able to take breaks from that. Now, the last vacation, again, take a pause, take a break. Do not, allow yourself to be stressed out and you're not taking no break because you're trying to get the bag, you're trying to get the money, all of those things. If you break down, trust me, you're going to be replaceable. Somebody will come in your place. So please take care of yourself. The last thing that she talked about was encouragement. You need to encourage yourself. Sometimes you get tired. People, not every day will somebody be there for you, right? And so you need to learn the skill of encouraging yourself. Like personally, I talk to myself a lot. like Priscilla, you've got this, you can do this, like those kind of things. It helps you to navigate some of these things. So basically, in terms of coping skills for leaders, these are the ones that Sonia was trying to also narrate to us. So thank you very much. Louisa, please, you can.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So we'll move straight into the next session. And so I'll take us through a few points to note. So as much as we are encouraging multidisciplinary leaders, we are also trying to help you find solutions to any problems that you might face. We understand that being a multidisciplinary leader is not the norm. It's not what people are used to. And it's sometimes what society tells us that it's not possible. But we are here to let you know it's possible. And we are providing solutions that would help you dig deep into all the multidisciplinary capabilities that you have to be able to become that leader that we want you to be. So the next few things I would highlight here are three, expectations from others, motivation and discipline, and community. So, as we have established that you need to have the mindset to become that multidisciplinary leader that we want you to be, and we know that you carry, Sonia and Priscilla have also highlighted that it is important for you to understand who you are and immerse yourself even in your work that you do, but also learn when to stop and take a break. As much as we are also encouraging that, we want you to know that this is not the norm. So society would expect you to do something else. And it's normal. Usually when you finish school, you're expected to find a job. When you find a job, you're expected to get married. After getting married, you're expected to have kids. Those are the expectations of others. Even in the job that you are in, you'll be expected to get promoted after 2 years or move into that next level. You're expected to stay in that job for security. Sometimes when you tell yourself you want to start a business, the expectations from society and others are like, no, you can't because you have a job. But we want you to know that as a multidisciplinary leader, this is normal. And the expectations of others can have an impact on your authenticity and your goals. So it's important for you to stick to what you know that you have been established and been built to do. So in the beginning, Priscilla highlighted that our creator, which is our God, as Christians, knows that we are capable of doing all the things that he has positioned us in this world to do. And that's why he has given us that power to do it. But remember that as you go and have that conversation with your creator, when you come out, it is easy for you to be influenced by the voices around you. It's okay for you to listen to people, but at the same time, consistently refer to your own conversation with God and don't let the expectations of people move you and limit you into something you are not built and made for. You are made for more and you are built for more. So just know that and don't let the expectations and voices of people move you into something else. Secondly, we want you to know that you need to stay motivated and disciplined. It's not easy to continue to push through your goals. It's very easy to stay in your comfort zone. I was telling a colleague this week that it's okay to be in a job, it's comfortable, it's secure. But at the end of the day, and it's risky to say you are leaving your job to start something. And at the same time, too, it's not easy to stay disciplined throughout your vision and your goals. But we want you to know that this is possible that you achieve your goals and you achieve your dreams. But you need to stay motivated and disciplined. And this also rehashes what Sonia mentioned about staying encouraged in the Lord. It's not going to be easy. We are letting you know that you trying to establish your goals as a multidisciplinary leader is going to come with a lot of setbacks, but you need to stay motivated and disciplined to be able to pursue your goals. Again, going back to what you have received from God, you know your vision, you know what you are capable of, and you know what you can do. No one else can understand your vision better than you. So, first of all, you need to stay motivated and know that I can do this. And have some discipline. Last night I was just going to bed, and I've established that I'm always going to brush my teeth before going to bed. Trust me, when I was in bed, I was feeling lazy to get up, but I told myself, no, I need to get up because I have established that every night I'm going to brush my teeth before going to bed. It's hard. There are days where I just want to go to sleep because I feel like once I get up, but that's the kind of discipline I'm talking about. So as little as brushing your teeth at night is even difficult. So I can imagine the difficulty that comes in pushing your goals and establishing yourself in whatever capacity that you want to. But we just want you to know that stay disciplined. No one would, you have to remember your why. You have to remember why you are doing what you're doing, and you need to stay motivated and disciplined to pursue those goals. But beyond even your own personal ability to keep yourself motivated, the next thing, which is even why this pro community, again, if you just you need to take a screenshot of, if you haven't done this, do it now. You need to stay connected to community. And I'll say stay immersive to sustain. Stay immersive to sustain. We have been built for community, and that is why we are building this community for each and every one of us on the call now. You need to stay committed to this community to be able to push towards your goal. Because there are days where, of course, as an individual, you would feel this is not going to work, or you would feel demotivated, or you feel like, well, what's the point of establishing all this? But we want you to know that the community here is why we are doing this. We want you to remain committed to this community and know that you can do this. You can be the leader you have been built for. Thank you. If Priscilla, if you have anything to say before we go, otherwise we are
Okay.
open for questions and contributions.
Okay. Yes, please, if you have any questions, please feel free. There are some of you filled the form and you had some issues in mind that you wanted to, you wanted us to touch on. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask your questions. In the meantime, you're also allowed to join the pro community. That is the QR code. Gideon, if you can put in, or if any of the team members can put the link also in the chat so that those people who cannot scan the code can also get access. That would be awesome. So kindly put it in the chat. Put the link in the chat, the pro community link in the chat. Okay, Gideon, can you take us to the next slide so we can finalize this? Please, we are open for questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask questions. Any questions from the audience? We want you to participate. Okay, so the pro community link is in there. We also need your feedback as well. So we're going to quickly get into that and then we can continue with the questions. Please don't be shy. Please ask us questions. Any questions on your mind concerning if you feel like you are being put in a box concern around your life, leadership, whatever it is, and you feel like you want help on how to navigate that, please, you're allowed to quickly ask your questions. But let's also go into the feedback and then we can finalize it with the questions. Sounds good? Okay, so we have a feedback from Gideon. You can also put the feedback link in there. Kindly scan the QR code and let's do this together and get feedback for this session in particular. So Gideon, please go
Priscilla,
ahead with the Slido.
Priscilla, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I know there are a few people here who also have some experiences that I think will be grateful to
Okay.
have them share. I don't want to mention their names, but if you're here and you don't have any questions, you don't have any, but you want to share a bit of your story to encourage someone, we would love to hear that as well. Thank you.
Yes, that's awesome. Anybody, we are happy to hear you out. You can just, unmute or okay, Rose, please go ahead.
Hi,
Yes,
everyone.
yes.
Hi.
It's
Hi,
good to see
Rose.
all of you. Yeah, and I'm so happy to be on this platform because most of the things we've discussed has been most of the things in my thoughts recently. And I was chatting with Louise and I told her, you know what? This very thing you shared with me, I was literally just talking about it with a colleague. Thank you. And what we've learned today is very powerful. I wanted to offer something from my angle.
Yes, of
especially when you mentioned that your identity as a multidisciplinary leader matters. Honestly, it is 100%. Aiming it is different, but owning who you are makes the point. So, from my point of view, I have come to understand that it is more like a danger if you can't tell who you are in your own map. For myself, with my background, I run across policy, I run across research, I run across community engagement, GIS, spatial analysis. Almost everything you want to think about, there is some kind of contribution I can make out of from. There was a point in time in my life where I used to think, why don't you just narrow down? So if you're in an interview and really people that you are there want to understand what your focus is, it appears you have nothing to say. Then going forward, I realized no, there is actually power in what I'm doing. If we have a room full of 10 people, everybody is owning up to just one thing. I am a breed of them, of every of who they are. And that makes it powerful. That makes it a tool. So I
awesome.
connected with one of the studies that I used to be in spatial analysis. We have a concept called white space. White
Mhm.
space is just like an area on a map. It is very empty. And they are full of data that people don't know. So that is what we are. Data that people don't know. And
Awesome.
we are white space. We
I
carry
love
in
it.
almost every discipline, experiences, every capacity, which we haven't let people see yet. So for those who understand how spatial mapping is being done, it is a cluster and a coalition of every little pieces. So if I want to bring out maybe spatial map of Accra, if you see what I've done, you will notice schools, you will notice health facilities, you will notice very important things in just one piece. So we are just like that map, one
Awesome.
single thing and one single entity with multiple surfaces. And
Right.
that even connects to, and I'm like, honestly, when you all were mentioning things from the Bible, I was like, wow. When I was in Ghana, I understood because we basically have a lot of Christians. It's easier to connect what you are saying with Bible. But over here, it's quiet. You have to like scan where you are before you can make such proclamations. So when you were emphasizing Bible a lot, I was like, oh, this is just a safe space. So
Love
that
that.
really connected me to Proverbs 25, where it says that the purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insights draws them out. So that brings me to the understanding that, okay, you are just not wrong. You are not far from who you can be. You are just one person with several hearts. And most of us in that situation, some way, somehow get to be drowned in those
Mhm.
strategies, especially in communities where they probably know that concept, but they think it's best for you to identify with one thing. So
Right.
thank you so much for bringing that out, and I'm really appreciated to be part of ProConnect. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Love that. Thank you so much, Rose. Your insights was amazing, and we are here with you. We are happy to, help all of us to, because we need help. We need support. We need to support each other. Like you said, the system puts us in a box. They'll tell you, "Oh, you are all over the place. You are doing too much. Why don't you just focus on one thing? Like, why are you a banker? Why are you a lawyer? Why are you a fashion designer? Why are you this?" But the truth of the matter is, we have the capacity to. So that is why we are here to help expand each other's capacity and support each other who are not fitting into the box that the society is telling us to be in. So thank you very much, Rose, once again for your insights. We appreciate it. Any other person who wants to share something, or if you have questions, you can also answer. You can also ask, sorry. Any other person. Okay, while we wait for a question or a contribution, we want to continue with the feedback session. So if please have we all been able to scan the QR code, or there's a link that one of our team members have put in there. Its name is tagged as feedback, your feedback. Kindly tap the link and let's start answering some of the questions. We have just 3 questions, so we're not going to waste your time. So just 3 questions that we are answering. Thank you very much. Gideon, please be projecting the feedback on Slido. as we, okay. So in one word, how would you describe today's session? Kindly put one word in the Slido. This is how you join Slido. Use the hashtag 1611674, where you enter the link that has been sent in the chat, or if you're able to scan the QR code as well, please just use the link. And as you type your answers, we are going to be seeing what you are typing on the screen. So kindly join the link quickly. Everyone, please, let's try to participate. Your feedback link has been posted. Gideon, if you can post it again in case they don't see it, put it in there. And your answers will be here. It's anonymous. We're not going to know who typed what, but it would be nice to have you interact with us and give us feedback. Okay, Gideon has posted the link again. So kindly join the link real quick. Everyone, please join the link with your phone or laptop, whatever it is that you have, and start putting in your answers to this particular poll. Let's do that quickly. Gideon, if you can project what they are sharing, I don't know if they are doing it, but if you can project what they are sharing, present what they are sharing so we can see on there. Please, can anybody hear me? Can I be heard?
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm projecting it. I don't know if you can see the active poll is up, so as they share their thoughts, it will just come up there.
Okay. So when you type whatever it is you want to type, it comes on the screen for all of us to see what your one word was. Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of them, but I'm not seeing it on the screen. I don't know why.
Okay,
Yeah,
let me
okay.
reshare again.
No, I think it's sharing now. We
It's
can see
sharing
it
now.
now. Yes, we can
Okay.
see it now. Okay. So someone says insightful, someone says outstanding, refreshing, helpful, reflective, amazing, awesome, impressive. Awesome, awesome. Okay, we're going to move on to the next question. The next question, Gideon, let's move on to the next question. The next one, which is the poll. The poll, quickly. All right. Okay. So he's going to present that one real quick and then we can continue. Okay, so the next one says, how relevant was today's ProMindset session to your leadership journey? How relevant was today's ProMindset session to your leadership journey? So with the same Slido, you want to continue with very relevant, somewhat relevant, neutral, slightly relevant, not relevant. It's totally up to you. We just really would want to see your feedback. Awesome. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So the last question, let's move on to the last question. The last question is, we want to know what's one specific action you will take after this session to grow your leadership capacity? What one action are you going to take? after this session to grow your leadership capacity. As you type it in there, we are going to be displaying your answers on the screen as well. What is one specific action you will take after this session to grow your leadership capacity? Stay consistent. Perfect. Awesome. Any other person? Any other person? Stay consistent. Any other person? I think the team members, we can also do ours in the process. We are all learning together. So stay consistent. Someone says, encourage myself in the Lord. Perfect. Awesome. Encourage yourself. You've got this. Priscilla, you've got this. Andre, you've got this. Gideon, you've got this. Ajakum, you've got this. Those kind of things are helpful. Any other person to finalize this so we can end today's session? Any other person? Okay. All right. So all too soon, we've come to the end of ProMindset. Gideon, can you show oh, someone is typing. Okay. I see someone typing. So let's wait on the other person who is typing. Please, if you are typing in, please do so quickly so we can see what you have on there as well. Your feedback matters to us, so we will take our time. Okay, let's do that quickly. Never give up. Okay, awesome, awesome. Never give up. Perfect. Thank you so much for participating in our feedback session. We want to put the last slide on and then we can wrap this up. So Gideon, go back to the last slide quickly so we can wrap it up. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We really appreciate your time. Our next event that we want to talk to you about is going to be Pro Wealth series, where we talk about money and money mindset and how to really accumulate wealth, how to build wealth and sustain the wealth as well. We want to be able to do that. So also, if you want to join the Pro community, that is your link to be able to do that. Please, next slide. Okay, next slide. The next slide. Okay, so yeah, our upcoming events. So in this same quarter of 2026, we are planning Pro Dialogues and Pro Wealth series. So with Pro Dialogues, what we are going to do is we are still going to be delving deeper into conversations about cross-sector bridge. How do we bridge the sectors? Because everybody is doing things in isolation. ProConnect Live said we want to bring people together to do things together, not in isolation. That is what Pro Dialogues is going to be about. And Pro Wealth series, we're going to talk about innovative strategies on how to, build wealth. We're going to empower you financially, help you to grow your financial resilience and your financial literacy, and then give you some tools to be able to navigate the power of finance. So we're going to share the full details of these two events coming up soon. And thank you so much for joining today's session. Any other thoughts before we go? Any other thoughts before we go? Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts?
Hi. Can you guys?
Please go ahead.
Yes, I'd just like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for making the time, and we hope to see you all during the next session. Okay, we'd like to see you, Adobia, Ijokum, Golden Knedu, Kojo Sapon, Fosua, Rose, and then Sechiwa. Please, we'd like to see you guys during our next session. Okay, so thank you so much for joining again.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye. See you in the next session. Have a good one. Bye-bye.